right, welcome in, sports fans. My name is Eric Mouton with 446Sports, your authority for baseball, softball around the state of Louisiana, live streaming, promotions of teams and players. So welcome in. I'm down in the Acadiana area, and I'm going to be joining 446Sports doing a little work, and I'm also going to be starting a segment of doing some interviews with some of our local baseball and softball coaches. So thank you very much for checking this out. And my first interview is going to be with Coach Andria Waguespack from St. Thomas More, the St. Thomas More Lady Cougars. Coach Wag, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Eric. Man, it's good to see you. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, indeed. Good to see you too. Had a chance to work with you for about 8 years when I was at St. Thomas More, and had a really good relationship, respect you and your program tremendously. So, Coach Wag, let's just start with a little bit about you. Maybe where you're from, how did you end up at St. Thomas More? Maybe a little bio on Coach Waguespack.
Sure. I am Lafayette born and bred. I graduated from Acadiana High School, class of 1995. Very proud graduate of Acadiana High School. And was very fortunate to have the opportunity to play volleyball and softball in college at a Division II school in Tennessee, in East Tennessee. And actually, that's kind of where my coaching started. My playing career ended a little early due to a Crohn's diagnosis that was pretty severe. I was very blessed to play for a coach who allowed me to continue my scholarship there, as long as I agreed to coach. Coaching wasn't necessarily my plan, but as they say, God always has a different plan than what you might think. And that's how I kind of got into coaching. I was a student assistant there for 2 years, and then followed that coach to another college in North Carolina, and eventually made my way back to Lafayette when Eric Mouton left St. Thomas More, which was in 2001, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. So, and here I am still coaching. Never thought I would be coaching, and 27 years later, here I am. So.
Well, that's great. I know you've worked with a lot of great young ladies and a lot of people over there at St. Thomas More and have done a great job. So let's talk a little bit about the softball team, the Lady Cougars this year. What's your current record? Where are you guys in the PowerPoints? And maybe a little grade so far on the Lady Cougar softball team.
Well, we started out this year, we graduated 8 starters. So we are, we have 1 returning senior, and it's a good one to have, is Margaret Auger, who's in the circle for us, outstanding pitcher, won a state championship as a freshman, as part of a duo in 2023. But we are starting fresh. And when I say fresh faces, there's on any given day, we're starting 3 or 4 freshmen, or on 3 or 4 sophomores, and Margaret, and a junior maybe here and there. So it's a different look for us, for sure. And you know as well as I do, being in high school, sometimes you have that youth. And we are right now, we're currently 5-6. We started out the year with a bang, with 2 defending state champions right out the gate, and Calvary Baptist and Sam Houston. And I'm a coach that firmly believes in playing that tough schedule. I want my young ladies to understand that the standard we want to play high level softball. And sometimes, we kind of threw them in the fire a little bit there here at the beginning. But I love the way we're competing. We are competing in every game. We're in every game. We have an opportunity every time we're out there. So right now, we are going to continue to work and do those small things. We have goals every time we go out there. And really the end game for us right now, we're around 12 in the power ranking. And the goal for us, obviously, we want to be in that top 10, and we want to have that opportunity come playoff time to get back to sulfur. And so right now it's a process, and it's going to be making sure you stay in the right frame of mind, and don't let the scoreboard dictate that progress for us. Sometimes, we all want to win, and I love to win more than I like to. I hate losing more than I like to win, I should say. But the scoreboard sometimes doesn't always tell the tale and how successful you are. So we are taking those small successes, and we're progressing. Every week I see us get a little better in some area. And right now it's just about that mental toughness, being able to do the hard things in the hard moments, and figuring that out. And these ladies look, we've got kids playing that have never played on the infield, starting in our infield, and kids that never played anywhere but catching, playing third base. We've got all the things. But we have the mindset that they are willing to do whatever is needed in order for our team to be successful. And so I think for me as a coach, I appreciate that. And they come ready to work every day. And so I think that's why we're having the successes that we are having, is because I have kids who are buying in. They're willing to play any position. They're willing to do whatever it takes. And so I can't wait to see where we are come April.
Oh, that's great. You talked a little bit about your senior, and I always like to ask about that senior group, because a lot of times you can only go as far as your seniors can take you. So you talked a little bit about her, but talk a little bit about maybe someone on the team, because I'm an unsung hero kind of guy.
Absolutely.
Maybe not someone who you see in the stat sheet, but you can't win without them.
Wow. That's a great question. And so this team in particular, it depends on the day, which, I love that for them, because they really, that's one huge positive about this group is any given day, it can be anybody. And we've had that throughout the course. We've had different kids step up, and it hasn't just been on Margaret to have to go out and win a game by herself. We've had some freshmen that I just appreciate so much. They show up. They're not afraid. They are fearless. They are relentless. They're learning. They're not scared to go up against that tough competition, because we're starting 3 and 4 of them in the lineup at any given moment. So we have a couple freshmen, Emery Jean, who's our starting shortstop right now, really a center fielder that we are making into a shortstop. But man, just a go-get-it attitude. Camille DeSarmo is starting in our outfield for us. She was a volleyball player as well. Just grit. I love that. Just go hard, play hard. Doesn't matter the circumstance. They're willing to fail in order to succeed. And I love that. And that is just the heart of a champion. I think in the end game for us, those are the things that are going to pay off. Skylar Stutes, who's a multi-sport athlete for us, who's a soccer player, a forward for our soccer team, who's extremely successful, just got back from soccer, had a fantastic weekend, was on the bases for us. He turned around and we put a freshman out in right field, Riley Savant, threw her out there this weekend because we had some injuries. We've been very injury plagued, unfortunately, but threw her out there this weekend and, batted over 300 and just fearless. And I love that. And so I think those freshmen enjoy competing, and I think that gives us a little extra punch. And man, they're going to be fun to watch in the future.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Coach. And let's talk a little bit about, you talked a little bit about some of the defensive players. You talked about your pitcher. But again, you have to have somebody behind the plate handling those pitchers. So let's talk a little bit about your staff. Talk about your battery, and then maybe your pitching coach who handles that part of it.
Absolutely. Look, that's one thing I've always been blessed at St. Thomas More. I've had kids who come in who are ready to catch and wanting to be good in that position. Pitching too. Those two positions, you got to be willing to work extra. You're not just gonna go through practice and then be good. There's no fairy dust in the world that can just make you a good pitcher or catcher. You got to be dedicated to doing the extra. This year we have Peyton Darden, who actually was our DP last year as a freshman, and that I had a phenomenal group last year. A lot of them went to play college ball, and she was in that lineup too as a freshman. She's the only returning offensive player that I have this year. And she's serving duties behind the plate. Cheyenne Irvin is off at University of Central Florida. And so Peyton kind of followed her lead, and she's doing a phenomenal job. She has to handle 2 pitchers right now, really 3. We're kind of using, as they're healthy, we're using them in kind of tandem. So she's that's a lot to manage, 3 different pitchers, all different ages too, freshman, junior, and a senior. So she's been handling her business, and we're counting on her in the 3-hole in our lineup. And she's scoring runs for us. She's doing what she needs to do, getting those RBIs for us, and learning how to manage the game, because I am my catcher runs my defense, and that's a lot of responsibility. So on top of managing pitchers, so Emily Landry has taken over our pitching coaching duties. Her and Gabby Pirtle. Gabby was there for quite a while. And Gabby's now helping me offensively and defensively, and Emily has taken over the bullpen duties. And she does a phenomenal job. Emily played for me a long time ago. I guess I've been around long enough now. I have former players coaching with me, which I love, by the way. Phenomenal person, but she's doing a great job with our coaching, with our pitching staff in that regard. So we're blessed to have that, because there's a lot of schools that don't have that luxury. So Emily was a pitcher for me and is doing extremely well.
That's great. Let's transition to the offense. Let's talk a little bit about first your offensive philosophy, Coach. You letting them swing for the fences? Are we playing a little small ball? What's your philosophy this year on the offensive side?
I think I guess we're kind of known to be that big hitting group and swing for the fences, and we've been blessed to be able to have that. And this year is not that look in particular, not in the moment anyway. And so I kind of feel like a football team. You got to kind of work with what you got. And so we've got a lot of great speed, good instinctual base runners. They're very aggressive, sometimes overly aggressive. I'll take that. I'd rather pull the reins on a thoroughbred than kick a donkey, So I love that they are super aggressive, but that's kind of what we have. So we have some slappers in our lineup. They've been doing a great job getting on base, and when we can get them on base, we've been able to score them. So we look to kind of create chaos, and we have a couple kids in our lineup that had the potential to be some big power hitters. And so we're working on that right now, but definitely a different look for us. I think people know us more to be that big hitting team. And I think that's coming. I think we're just a work in progress. We've been facing some of the best pitching in the state right out the gate. So it's coming, but we're going to try to put it in play, whatever that looks like, whether that is bunting it, slapping it, hitting it in a gap, whatever it takes, and we're going to try to create chaos.
That's it. Throw strikes when you're in the circle, and put the ball in play when you're in the batter's
100%.
box. There you go, Coach. Take that with you. Let's talk a little bit about your district. What's the district looking like heading into district play pretty soon, or maybe you've had one district game already?
Yes, we played one district game against David Thibodeau that we won on Thursday. Our district we had some great teams in our district this year. I know David Thibodeau, they lost a few players that transferred out. But North Vermilion and Turlings, both of them, good coaching staffs, but return a very core group of players from last year. Turlings in particular got a little influx of some freshmen who can play a little bit. And got great coaches, Lauren Carrigy, Joy LeBlanc, outstanding coaching staff there. But I think between them and North Vermilion, man, they're going to be tough to beat. Callie Gibson is throwing the ball really well, and they have and North Vermilion has a UL commit and Zoe Harrington. That's their battery. Callie and Zoe are very, very good, not only defensively but offensively as well. And North Vermilion also just got back their basketball kids, they made a great run. And I always say, if you're good at basketball, you're going to be a good athlete no matter what. And so they proved that point. They've got some basketball kids who can play the game. So they're going to be tough. We have them actually Tuesday this week, so it's a good test for us. We get to play them at home, which is a benefit for us. We're tough to beat at home, so I'm looking forward to that challenge for us. But I think North Vermilion and Turlings are the two teams in our district. You got to beat them all, but I think those two in particular have gotten off to a great start, and they're both ranked high in the power rankings right now. And they'll be tough to beat.
Yeah, a few people have told me over the last 10 years, district championships aren't as important as they once were because of PowerPoints. I say that's incorrect. A district championship is huge for a school, especially in a tough district with good coaches, because everybody's going to be prepared, and you hang that banner, that's an accomplishment. Last question, Coach. I'm going to start covering some of the Acadiana area in South Louisiana. Talk about 3 teams maybe that you've seen in this area. I know you just mentioned 2 in your district, but maybe 3 other teams that you've seen that you're really, really impressed with that will probably make a deep run and probably end up in Sulphur.
I'm going to tell you, I think you talk about obviously North Vermilion and Turlings. I think they're both will be teams to look out for. I think Kaplan, Brittany LaBeouf and her coaching staff do a phenomenal job. You have Lexi Green in the circle for Kaplan, and Coach LaBeouf does a phenomenal job preparing her team. Just watching them early on, they're going to be tough to beat. Just with her, she presents in the circle a challenge, and she swings the bat extremely well. She's got a good supporting cast. They're young around her, but I have no doubt the schedule they play, and knowing Coach LaBeouf, they're going to be ready to go. Notre Dame is another one. I got to watch them play early against some really good competition, and Dale Sarah has got some kids who can absolutely swing the bat. They are super aggressive, and they can hit the long ball. They're known for that. He's a great hitting coach, and they are going to make a deep run again, I think, in their division. And they're young in the circle, but you got to outscore them. So, good luck with that. That's tough to do. And they're playing a really good schedule this year. So I look for them to make a deep run. And then you have Iota's got some great pitching. They're going to be tough to beat. I think we could see Iota return to the state tournament. It's possible, and even Acadiana High. They were recently the number one in the Select Division I. He's got some tools. They can swing a bat. Man, they're aggressive. They've got some good pieces. So I look to how far they're going to go down the road as the season progresses. Hopefully, and hopefully all those teams, including us, like I said, we've been bit by the injury bug. It's been pretty rough the past week or so. But I think if you watch all these teams, how they progress is going to be super important if they can stay healthy. Acadiana, Kaplan, Iota, Notre Dame. I think you can look for them to make some good runs.
And we are also going to look for St. Thomas More to make
absolutely
a good run as well. Absolutely. I know that. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you taking the time to get this thing started. I hope to continue to do this. Please spread the word about 446 because we'd like to have a footprint in this area and bring these coaches, these teams, and these players to the entire state of Louisiana.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me. I think it's a great thing. We've got some great softball down in this area, outstanding coaches and some great softball players and programs. So I appreciate you guys doing this and bringing this down here. We definitely will be spreading the word. So thank you all for taking the time to do it.
That's Coach Andria Waguespack. Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully I'll get out there and get a chance to see you guys play.
Absolutely. It'd be great to see you, man.
That is it. I thank our guy, Doug Gann, in the control room for producing us tonight and this opportunity. So we are going to say good night and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.